There are chapters in life when your soul grows weary long before your body falters. You awaken and wonder, is all this effort truly worth it? You have poured out your time, your patience, your hopes. You have waited. You have endured. And still, from the outside, the terrain appears motionless. The world remains silent. The rewards do not arrive. It is easy in that stillness to feel empty, to doubt your path, to believe that maybe you have made the wrong turn. Yet what you do not see with your eyes, what the senses cannot register, is that at that very moment, when life feels most silent, transformation begins. True growth does not demand the stadium of applause. It's not born in the bright glare of celebration. Growth is forged in silence. It is invisible, humble, relentless, and many surrender precisely at the threshold where the passage into something new begins. Jung taught that the greatest awakenings of spirit never happen by chance. They are born of confrontation with oneself. They are carved in the days when no one applauds, in the long stretches of solitude, in the hours when you keep walking, though you have no promise of reward. Life does not reward the one who simply begins. It rewards the one who endures. So hear this. Do not surrender now. Do not mistake exhaustion for the end. Fatigue is only the sign that you have traveled further than before. It is the border where many stop and where the courageous begin. Each person you admire once considered giving up. The difference was not raw talent. It was inner strength, forged in stillness. The mind will always look for the easiest exit. It whispers, you've done enough. Stop now. But the mind does not know the difference between safety and stagnation, between comfort and paralysis. You must train it, challenge it, lead it beyond what it believes possible. Success does not belong to the lucky. Success belongs to those who persist. Part 2, the furnace of becoming. The pain you feel today is not weakness. It is transformation in disguise. Nothing changes without tension, friction, or resistance. What stings today becomes your strength tomorrow. So hold on. Ignore the noise of doubt and listen instead to the still whisper of your becoming. Though it may feel like nothing is happening, something is stirring within you. You are learning to bear what once broke you. You are developing a rare mind, the kind that continues when everything inside screams to stop. Every step you take, however small inches, you closer to that moment when everything aligns. Success arrives quietly, wrapped in fatigue, draped in uncertainty. Yet, it always finds the ones who refuse to quit. You are not retreating, you are evolving. You are not failing, you are growing resilient. Fatigue is not the end. It is the threshold of a new version of yourself, stronger, more disciplined, more aware. Jung said that character is not forged in ease, but in struggle, not born from applause, but from silence. The silence of days when no one notices your effort, when everything seems still, when life seems unresponsive. That silence is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the sacred space in which the universe watches whether your desire is real or mere words. Most say they seek freedom, peace, meaning, but few are willing to face the storm that refines them. Life does not ask if you are tired, it asks if you are aligned with your purpose. It does not grant you what you wish for. It shows you what you are ready to sustain. The one who quits once trains the mind to surrender, but the one who continues, even crawling, trains the mind to obey purpose, not fatigue. Discipline is doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it. Your body may resist, but your spirit, it does not. When you remain steadfast through exhaustion and uncertainty, you cease to be a victim of your circumstances and become the creator of your destiny. Part 3. The invisible see. Most abandon the path because they can't see progress. They believe if nothing external is moving, nothing internal is growing. But real progress begins unseen. The seed expands in darkness long before it blossoms. The same within you. You are strengthening in silence. Each morning you choose to continue. Each time you rise, each attempt you make. Even when no one watches you, affirm a deeper belief. I am someone who finishes what I start. That repetition, lived through action, reshapes identity. Because success is never one brilliant act. It is the invisible accumulation of small, consistent choices. Every time you rise again, every time you make one more attempt, every time you take one more step, you draw closer to the turning point where everything changes. It is not magic, it is consistency. Not luck, it is perseverance. The darkest hour always precedes dawn, the place where everything seems lost, where nothing worked, where silence threatened to consume you. And yet they kept going, not out of strength, but conviction. Because they understood the only way out was through. The difference between those who arrive and those who stay behind is not talent. It's faith in the process. It's the decision to keep walking when everyone else sits down. To look pain in the eye and say, you will not stop me. Giving up may look like relief, but it is not. Soon it becomes a burden. Today you may think stepping away will relieve you, but tomorrow the weight of regret will find you. True rest does not come from avoiding effort. It comes from knowing you gave everything, that you tried even when no one believed, that you stood up each time you fell. That kind of rest, quiet pride is the reward of those who refuse to surrender. Part 4. Mind and soul align. Listen carefully. The person who learns to endure when there is no guarantee becomes unstoppable. Because when you no longer need proof to keep going, from motivation, applause, external validation, you act from decision. Motivation is fleeting, decision is permanent. Motivation depends on moods, results, wind and weather. But a decision depends on who you are. And when you decide, I will not give up, everything changes. Because you stop waiting for readiness. You act tired, frustrated, uncertain, but you act. That consistency in chaos is what separates dreamers from achievers. Each time you choose not to quit, you teach your mind something powerful. You are trustworthy. Because the mind does not obey words, it follows example. If every time you promise something you don't follow through, the mind learns your words are meaningless. But if the mind sees you remain steadfast, even when it hurts, even when no one watches, even when results are absent, then the mind learns you are solid, you are dependable, real, and when your mind trusts you, it becomes your ally, not your enemy. Many fail not because they are incapable, but because their mind no longer trusts them. They have broken their own words so many times that when the moment to push comes, their brain sabotages them. So every time you resist a little more, you rebuild your inner power. You reprogram your mental system. You tell yourself, I will not stop until I make it. And that is not arrogance, it is determination. Success is not about who can do it, but about who will do it through the pain. When you understand that, your perspective shifts. You stop chasing instant results. You begin to love the process. You start to see effort as privilege, not punishment. Because you know, While most look for shortcuts, you are building foundations, the foundations of a stable, unshakable life. Fast success may fade fast, but success forged through effort, consistency, endurance, that remains. Remember, what feels hard today will one day be your comfort zone. And when that happens, you will rise again, expand again, cross new frontiers again, because growth never ends. Every obstacle you overcome prepares you for the next level. That is the beauty of the process. It never leaves you the same. Part 5. The sacred silence. Do not mistake silence for abandonment. Sometimes life goes quiet to see if you still believe in yourself when no one else does. It's a test of faith, of character, of focus. Life is watching. Will you keep fighting when there are no applauses? Will you keep walking when no one is watching? Will you keep believing when everything seems lost? That is the true test of a champion. Not the race everyone sees, but the silent war you fight in your own mind every morning when you decide, I begin again. And if today you feel tired, frustrated, like giving without receiving, pause. Breathe. Not to quit, but to remember how far you have come. You are not in the same place you began. You have grown, you have learned, you have endured, and that is already victory. Persistence is not always measured in external results. It is measured in resilience. How many times did you say just one more when you wanted to stop? How many times did you stand up when no one came to help? How many times did you keep going without knowing if it would matter? Listen, it is always worth it, because even if you fail, you become stronger, and that alone is victory. Failure does not destroy the one who learns. It destroys only the one who gives up. Because when you fail, you gain experience. But when you quit, you gain nothing but regret. And regret is heavier than any defeat. It hurts more than exhaustion. It follows you longer than any loss. It visits your nights. What if I had tried just one more time? That is why when you reach your limit, don't ask yourself how much is left. Ask instead, how much more can I give? Because the answer will surprise you. You are stronger than you think, more resilient than you can imagine. The pain you feel is not a sign of collapse. It is proof of your growth. Every time you endure, your mind expands, your spirit strengthens, your identity rises. You are no longer the same person who began. Now you are someone who can endure what once broke you. So keep going, not because it is easy, but because it is worth it. Keep going because you have already invested too much in yourself to turn back now. Keep going because every second of effort is bringing you closer, even if you can't see it yet. When you least expect it, everything will make sense. Not because destiny took pity, but because you never stopped. Don't give up now. There comes a stage in every journey when the light begins to reveal the darkness you've been avoiding. You start to see the fears, insecurities, and wounds you had buried beneath your ambition. At first, this feels like regression, as if the progress you made was an illusion. But Jung taught that no one becomes enlightened by imagining figures of light. One becomes enlightened by making the darkness conscious. Your exhaustion, your doubt, your anger at slow progress, these are not enemies. They are messengers from the shadow, the unacknowledged parts of your psyche asking to be seen. Each frustration you feel is a reflection of something within that wants to grow up. Every obstacle outside mirrors a limitation inside. The path to mastery is not a sprint toward perfection. It's a slow reconciliation with your own imperfection. The shadow is not evil. It is energy, raw, untamed, misunderstood. When you repress it, it sabotages you. When you face it, it strengthens you. The athlete who learns from failure, the artist who draws from pain, the leader who accepts fear yet acts anyway, all have befriended their shadow. When fatigue whispers that you're not enough, it's your shadow asking for acceptance. You transcend it not by denial but by dialogue. Say to yourself, yes, I am tired, yes, I am afraid, and yet I continue. The alchemy begins there where fear and courage coexist. Part 7, Alchemy of the Self. Jung often compared inner transformation to alchemy, the medieval art of turning base metals into gold. But he explained that the true gold was not material, it was the soul refined by experience. Life's challenges are the furnace. Pressure, uncertainty, and time are the fire. And your endurance is the crucible that allows transmutation. Every disappointment you survive, every doubt you overcome, purifies your inner metal. You burn away naivete, pride, and fear, until what remains is essence, steady, luminous, incorruptible. Most people want the gold without the fire. They want the wisdom without the waiting. But without heat, there is no change. Without friction, there is no spark. The work is slow because it is sacred. You are not building habits, you are building being. Every act of discipline, every silent victory adds another layer to the structure of your soul. That is why Jung called the process individuation becoming whole, becoming yourself. Individuation is not about perfection, but integration. It means embracing contradiction, strength and vulnerability, logic and intuition, chaos and order. The more you integrate, the less you fragment. And when you cease to divide yourself, you cease to be divided by life. Part 8, the trial of faith. At certain points, progress becomes invisible, not because it stops, but because it moves from the outer world into the inner. The caterpillar does not crawl through transformation. It dissolves. It becomes unrecognizable before it can become new. Likewise, you may feel like you're losing everything, passion, direction, certainty. You may fear that all your work is collapsing. But what if collapse is not failure? What if it's molting? Jung wrote that there is no coming to consciousness without pain. The shell of who you were must crack for the next self to emerge. This is the trial of faith, continuing when all visible reasons to continue have vanished. Faith, in Jung's sense, is not blind belief. It's the courage to stay inside the unknown long enough for meaning to form. Most flee the unknown, few inhabit it. Yet all revelations are born there. The world calls this patience. Jung called it participation in the unconscious. When you stop forcing and begin listening, new patterns emerge. Synchronicities appear. Those subtle coincidences that whisper, you are on the right path. But they reveal themselves only after endurance, never before. The universe speaks in timing, not noise. Part 9, the warrior within. The modern world glorifies speed and visibility, but the psyche moves in rhythm, not rush. Jung observed that the greatest battles of life are fought in the silent chambers of the soul. You are in such a battle now not against others, but against the part of you that seeks comfort over purpose. The warrior within does not wield a sword, but a will. It rises each dawn not because it feels strong, but because it remembers why it began. It trains itself to act without applause, to believe without evidence, to stand even when the ground trembles. Each time you endure, you reclaim power from fear. Each time you persist through the unknown, you reclaim trust in yourself. Eventually, effort becomes devotion, work becomes prayer. The act of continuing becomes a sacred ritual of affirmation. I am alive. I am capable. I am becoming. That is what Jung meant when he said that meaning is born from the struggle between opposites. You are both weary and willing, afraid and determined, broken and becoming whole. The alchemist in you understands that tension itself is transformation. Part 10. The threshold of self-mastery. One day you will look back and realize that the silence you cursed was the soil that grew your strength. You will see that every setback trained your mind for steadiness, every delay carved patience into your bones. You will recognize that fatigue was not a sign of weakness, it was the sign that you were building something permanent. You will no longer chase ease, for you will have tasted meaning. You will no longer beg for signs, for you will have become one. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That privilege is earned, not given. It's earned in the days you keep your word when no one is watching, in the nights you rise after falling, in the silence you endure without losing faith. By then, success will not thrill you, it will humble you, because you will know it was never about achievement, it was about alignment. You will walk differently, speak calmly, move with intention. You will embody what once you only sought, and that will be your quiet reward. The peace that follows those who have met themselves in the fire and did not run. So, if you are in that fire now, stay there. Don't fight the heat. Let it forge you. The universe does not give what you ask for, it gives what you can hold. And you are learning to hold everything. Keep going. Not tomorrow now. Not because it's easy, because it's sacred. Not to prove your worth, but to discover it. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. And when you emerge, the world will not recognize you. But you will finally recognize yourself. Part 11. A dialogue in the dark shadow. Work in practice. There is a room in you that you keep locked. The room of unspoken anger, old envy, disowned power, and banned desire. Jung called it the shadow, not a monster to be slain, but a storehouse of energy waiting to be integrated. The brave do not exile it. They enter and listen. Begin here. Name the tension. Write one sentence that captures your current struggle. Not a story, a sentence. I fear I'm behind. I resent being unseen. I avoid difficult conversations. Clarity shrinks chaos. Find the opposite. Ask, what quality in others triggers me? Arrogance, laziness, attention-seeking? The shadow speaks through irritation. Whatever you condemn without curiosity probably contains a disowned fragment of your own potential, misused, misdirected, or misunderstood. Offer a chair, close your eyes. Imagine the trigger as a person sitting across from you. Let it speak for 2 minutes without interruption. Then you answer for 2 minutes without defense. This is not pretend, it's psychic negotiation. The goal is not agreement, it's awareness. Transmute, don't transgress. Ask, what is the rightful job of this energy? Arrogance, refined, becomes sovereignty. Envy, refined, becomes direction. Anger, refined, becomes boundary. Alchemy is refinement, not repression. A small public act. Perform one visible behavior that honors the integrated quality. If you fear visibility, post your work. If you avoid conflict, say the honest sentence kindly. If you resent needing others, ask for help clearly. The psyche believes action, not intentions. Do this weekly. You will feel less divided, less easily thrown off by the world, because you will be less at war with yourself. Part 12. The inner marriage. Anima and animus. Jung taught that within each person lives a complementary principle, anima, the imaginal, feeling, connective current, and animus, the clarifying, structuring, directional current. Most burnout is not from doing too much, but from carrying these energies in conflict. When animus dominates without anima, life becomes hard edges, plans without pulse, goals without grace, productivity without poetry. When anima overwhelms without animus, life becomes drift, feeling without form, inspiration without incarnation, vision without vessel. Your task is the inner marriage, not sameness, synergy. Try this two-pillar routine: morning animus, direction. Write the single non-negotiable for today. Define a boundary you'll uphold. Choose one action that scares you slightly and do it before noon. Evening anima. Ask, where did I force? Where did I flow? Name one feeling you avoided and one you allowed. Create one page in a journal, one sketch, one melody, one paragraph. Not for posting, for presence. Over weeks, the nervous system learns a new rhythm. Clarity in the morning, coherence at night, action and assimilation, will with warmth. This is strength that doesn't shatter. Part 13. Dreams as compass, listening to the unconscious. When the day is loud, the unconscious speaks at night. Jung called dreams the royal road to the psyche. They do not flatter, they mirror. If you ignore them, you will repeat them awake. A simple 3-step dream practice. Catch, keep a notebook and pen beside your bed. Upon waking, write anything you remember. Image, color, word, mood, speed over grammar. Dreams vanish when argued with. Cluster. Circle recurring symbols. Bridges, trains, keys, waves, falling elevators. Ask, where in life am I crossing, moving, unlocking, overwhelmed, descending? Symbols speak in metaphor, not manuals. Carry, choose one symbol and carry it into the day as a question. Bridge, what threshold needs a conscious crossing today? Key, what skill or admission unlocks this problem? Wave, where must I stop resisting and learn to ride? Don't force interpretation. Live it. Meaning emerges by participation. Over time, you will feel guided not by superstition, but by a deeper intelligence that loves wholeness more than comfort. Part 14. On synchronicity, when inner and outer rhyme. Synchronicity, for Jung, is not magic tricks by the universe. It's meaningful coincidence, the meeting point of inner readiness and outer resonance. You will notice it most after you endure the desert, not before. How to cultivate readiness. Coherent aim. State your current season in one line. This quarter I am mastering honesty in my work. Vague signals yield vague responses. Clean agreements. Keep promises to yourself for 7 straight days. Small, measurable, visible. Synchronicity follows integrity. Silent windows. Schedule 2. 20-minute blocks weekly without inputs. No phone, no notes, no music. Stand, walk or sit. Meaning needs oxygen. Then, when a timely call arrives, a book falls open to the precise passage, a stranger says the exact phrase you journaled that morning, don't worship coincidence, align with it. Ask, what is the smallest faithful action I can take in response? Synchronicity is an invitation not a chauffeur. Part 15. The mandala returns wholeness as orientation. Across cultures, circles appear in rituals of healing. Jung saw patients draw circles instinctively during crisis and called these images mandalas, symbols of psychic order. You don't need artistry, you need attention. A 5-minute mandala for anxious days. Draw a circle. Divide it into 4 quadrants. Body, art, mind, spirit. Inside each, write one need for today. Body, water, sunlight, 25-minute walk. Heart, text a friend, forgive the comment. Mind, finish the page, ship the draft. Spirit, 3 silent breaths before decisions. Mark the single action for each quadrant. Put the circle where you will see it. When panic rises, glance at the circle. You are not your schedule. You are a system seeking symmetry. Even a small act in each quadrant resets direction. Wholeness is not a final state. It's a daily arrangement of attention. Coda, the long, quiet triumph. You wanted a sign that you are close. Here it is. You are enduring the silence without abandoning yourself. That is the crossing most never make. The world changes for those who keep their word in the dark. One day you will stand in a room that once terrified you and feel only calm. You will hear the old voice, quit now, and it will sound like wind behind glass. You will face work that used to paralyze you and move with clean steadiness, not because life became easier, but because you became undivided. This is individuation, not becoming someone else, but ending the civil war inside so your life can move in one direction, not louder, truer. Keep the vow. 1 honest act a day, 1 difficult sentence spoken kindly, 1 step when you'd rather stop. Circle by circle, dream by dream, shadow by shadow, you are re-entering your own center. Not by luck, by structure, not by applause, by alignment, not for the world's crown, for the soul's peace